Sir.
Okay, all right,
We probably need to get some of these other guys on.
okay. It is 6:30 PM on Wednesday, January 22nd. I'm gonna call the meeting of the River Plantation Municipal Utility District Board of Directors to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the meetings of the December 19th, 2024 meeting. I did have one correction, Davis.
Okay.
The first order, the minutes of the meetings, were approving the November minutes. Tim wasn't here, so Tom made the motion and it was seconded by Carl. I went back and watched the video.
Sorry about that. We will get that corrected.
That's okay. And Robert wasn't here. There was no members of the public here except the consultants last month.
Got it.
So,
Got it. I appreciate that feedback.
that's okay. I think that was it. So, anybody have any corrections, questions, comments?
In that case, I move we accept the minutes.
Okay. Do I have
With the corrections.
with the correction? Okay. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. All right. Receive comments from the public. Robert, did you want to say
Yes, I
something?
do. Thank you. If you will engage me, I think I have about 3 or 4 topics I'd like to address before the board.
All right. You got 3 minutes.
You might find it more interesting than you want to listen for more, but first of all, let's just start with this.
Yeah.
I have some pictures here. Thank you.
Are each of these packets the same?
Yeah, they're the same. I'll just share. And then I have copies here. It might be a
I'll
little
take a
harder
sheet.
to read. First picture you're looking at, my first topic has to do with safety barriers. So if you look at the first picture that I presented to you, that's a safety barrier that we have here at River Plantation. This is a safety barrier that's adjacent, that's right on the shoulder of a road, a heavy traveled
Okay,
street.
that's not, that wasn't put there by us, I don't believe. I think that was the county or the
It's put there by
CIA.
MOC. I called them, well, whoever put
Okay.
it there. So I don't know who's responsible. I'll say I called MOC. But then, I know what they did when I reported the grate that was broken, and it was the same type of stuff. It should have a safety barrier. Let me show you what a safety barrier looks like. If you look at the second picture.
This is what we had around the grate.
Wasn't quite that good, but I mean, okay, so if you have a recall. Well, that's what we have right there. So I think we have cause for letting the county know or somebody know that this is not acceptable. Okay, now if you go to the second, so that's my concern there.
Let me see that picture, the first picture, not that picture, the first picture.
where's that?
Is that a sinkhole or is that on the edge of the road that's caused that?
Let me show you this. Let me show you the first one, I said. Okay, I reported it 2 months ago, more than 2 months ago, to the
Where's
LOC.
that?
Okay, that's on this address right here.
Yeah, we get the
That's
same.
it. 495 Merrimack. And I watched it grow over time. And I reported it to MOC, and they came out pretty quickly, and I assumed it was them. As a matter of fact, I saw the guy. And that's what they put in place. Rebar.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Sure.
Hey Taylor, do we have anything at 495 Merrimack that would cause a sinkhole right along the edge of the road?
Let me pull up the address real quick.
You have a manhole right across the street. It flows underneath the street. And the dimensions on that hole right now is 25 inches deep and about 32 inches wide.
Is this one at the same place?
It's the same one, it's growing.
What was the address?
495 Merrimack.
That was what was reported. It's right there between Merrimack and Monitor on Braxton Bragg. You know, there's no street addresses on Braxton Bragg, so you have to report the house that's closest to it. And this is where, if you look at this one, this is where cars run over the the cone
The cone.
and broken it.
Okay.
I'll guarantee you, if a car hits that manhole, that sinkhole, it will stop.
Oh, yeah, because look at that rod that's in there.
Yeah, and the rebar,
Yeah.
and that's why I point out the city of Houston, they have something called safety caps. And I think this board can have expectations for what they want to see in our community, and this is not it. It's been there now for 2 months. You see at least 2 months. You see the date on the first one. That's when I first took the picture. The kids that play around there. So that needs to be addressed post haste. And I'll bring to your attention the next sinkhole. And how many sinkholes do we have in the community, Taylor?
A lot.
We
But
are
these we don't.
currently fixing, we are project underway for 4 separate sanitary sinkholes. I know of a couple more that were not within, I would clarify, a dangerous location as in road right of way. There's probably 3 or 4 more as well.
But wait a minute, I wanna make a statement as far as that
Go
goes.
ahead.
Because remember when we were running for the bond, when we were trying to get the bond approved? And how many times did people and you guys say, we have no
No,
sinkholes in
you
this
told me
community?
that when we were
No.
outside the building.
I
ma'am.
told, no,
I'm
don't
not
you
here for
dare tell
argument.
me
I'm not
that
here
I
for-
told you we
I'm
had no
not here for,
sinkholes.
I'm not here for argument. I'm here to present this, and you take it and do with it what you want.
Okay.
Whether you have bond
But
money
I'm-
or not. But I'm trying to say, if you know what you have, I come to meetings, I don't hear any evidence to say we have lots of sinkholes.
We have lots of
And
sinkholes.
that's not acceptable. You need to know how many have been repaired, how long does it take to be repaired, to repair. 2 months, is that acceptable? Is that acceptable performance? Especially on a road right of way. That's it, nothing to be said about
Okay.
that, okay?
Okay.
You can take what you want, I know what you said. I'm
Okay.
not through yet.
I know what I said
There's-
too.
You go ahead. We're in private, our personal conversation
Okay.
outside the church there, okay?
I've never been to Turks, so I
When
wouldn't.
we were over there with the bond, it was, you're diverting me from what topic.
Okay,
ma'am.
go ahead.
And that's not respectful, okay?
Okay.
612 Merrimack is the other location. Here's a picture right here. I saw it when it was grass. And the other day I was walking by and now there's dirt. Here again, it's across the street from, it's inside, it's not on the people's property, it's right where the water line is. And across the street is a manhole cover. So something tells me maybe there's culverts that go underneath the street that go over to the storm sewer on the other side of the street. Okay? So I'll bring that to your attention. That's
Did you
all
get
I'm
that
doing.
address, Taylor?
So that's number
That
9,
was
right?
612 Merrimack? Is that correct?
Merrimack Park, yeah.
Well, wait, this says 612 Arkansas Park.
Arkansas, I'm sorry, Arkansas Park.
Oh, okay.
Is
It's,
this,
it's on Braxton Bragg when you look at it.
I'm sorry, is this number 9 on your sheet?
Yes, it is,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, now the next one. I'd like to bring to your attention. If you recall, sometime
Oh,
back,
wait, this says 11. Is it 9 or 11 that's 612?
Same thing.
I only have
Same
one
thing.
hole, instead,
Okay.
one picture really, 2 pictures on
Okay.
612. That's all I want to bring to your attention. The next one has to do with, I watched on the other side of, y'all may know the answer, on the other side of Crichton. You see that all the trees have been taken down, you see land, right? Well, then I drive down the service road, and before I get to the whistle stop, I look over there and see all these shovels out there, right, doing work. And I wonder, what's going on there? Well, I go over there and I take a couple pictures. And you tell me what this looks like to you.
That's not our land.
It's not our land.
Pipeline.
Yeah, it's a pipeline going through there.
Pipeline? That looks more like a storm sewer to me.
No, it's a pipeline.
Okay, that's what I want to know, it's a pipeline, because to me, if it's a storm sewer,
Yeah, their operation is
It's a
sitting by
public.
the,
okay, that's good, you know, thank
is
you.
on the other side.
That's all I wanna know,
Absolutely
because-
nothing to do with us.
And it's going all the way
Now,
to.
what it has to do,
Yeah.
the concern, that's great to hear, I didn't know that. That's why I asked you guys. But the point about that is, that brought to my attention, that about 4 years ago, who went to the presentation, the public presentation over at Lone Star College? You did?
For what?
We talk about taking care of Stewart Creek from Panorama Village all the way down to the San Jacinto River, right? And how long did you say it's gonna take? 2 years?
Well, but it hadn't even been approved
Well, it
yet.
was approved.
No.
Well, let's go ahead. So, maybe you know the status.
We went out at the, we went out at
So
the
it was 2 years ago.
convention center.
Yeah, I know, and I've inquired too with Jamie, and she said it was about a year ago. And the lady told her,
Because it
All
was
right.
right after you got on the
That's right.
board.
no, the lady told me it's at the General Land Office in the state of Texas. So,
It has nothing
according-
to do with us, that's
It's a
Charlie
county
Riley.
issue, yeah.
well,
That's
you
a
as a
waterway.
board
It has
have
nothing
an
to do with
interest
us.
in Stewart Creek and what it does to the community. I think you have a lawyer here who can write a severe letter, a presentation, and maybe get some other entities along the Stewart Creek
Okay.
and get them to get that through.
Okay, your
the-
3 minutes is
Give
up
them
because you're
to the
talking about
committee.
stuff that
Thank
has
you.
nothing to do with us. We have
Well, I
nothing to
don't
do
know
with
why
the
you went to the
pipeline, we
meeting.
have nothing.
Okay, I didn't ask you, I thought it was a water line, okay?
So,
That's why I asked you, what's it for, so you know, that's good.
Yep,
So I won't ask the question anymore.
okay.
Thank
If
you.
y'all can take that for your evidence, I presented this in the meeting, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Financial and bookkeeping matters, bookkeepers
Angela,
report.
just real quick,
Oh.
I noted both of those sinkholes, and we'll get out and take a look at them. We've got a contractor currently doing 5 other sinkholes and sanitary, so it may be worthwhile just getting it as part of that contract for a change order.
Okay, okay, cool. Okay, bookkeepers report. Tiffany, you on there?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We left off from our last meeting with $47,218.15. We transferred from your online account $98,000 and from your Texas class account $70,000 to cover today's expenses. Bank service charges are listed. Under checks previously approved, we issued your river plantation, joint drainage, and your SQP blank checks. One to energy for utility expenses. You've got CenterPoint Energy for utilities. We're still holding on to consolidated. And then we've got the handwritten check that we did at the last meeting for First Financial, since we decided to hold on to that safety deposit box. Today, for y'all's approval, we've got Alpha Lawn Care, consolidated. Houston Chronicle, this is a notice of a public hearing for the tax rate. Bookkeeping fees for the month of December. Mark Iring for audit fees. Maintenance and operations for December. You've got prepared publications for operations admin. Legal fees for the month for Smith Murdo and the Raddick Law Firm. I think I'm saying that wrong every time. The Smith Murdaugh, thank you. The Raddick Law. And someone's gonna have to tell me which way this goes, but Touchstone for emergency alert system. Your general engineering fees, and then their fees for Plantation Village drainage improvements, stormwater management, the sanitary sinkhole repairs, and lastly, the Caucus lawsuit. Refunds follow, and then new blank checks for the month. Ending balance in your checking account is $33,900. Your next page, your online account. Accounts payable came in at just over $74,000, and then you've got your transfer over to the general operating fund, customer returned NSF items and bank service charges. Our ending balance, including your checking account and your investment account at Texas Class, is at $606,815. Your tax deposit account, this is exciting news. We are getting some taxes rolling in here. Earning interest and service charge on the account, we are at $351,000 collected. So you're going to start seeing transfers going out of this account to your general operating fund and your debt service account. And just below that, you'll see that we are 59.34% collected. So a good chunk rolling in. I've seen across the board a delay this year, but a good amount coming in so far. Your next page.
I think the property
Yeah,
tax
that's-
statements didn't go out until late.
Yes, Montgomery County sent them out
Yeah.
late for almost all my districts are in that area, so. Your capital projects fund, earning interest and service charges, and then one check today. for all the ongoing projects. Ending balance, including your investment account, is at $1,435,000. Your debt service account, just earning interest here, brings us to $391,000. And then you have your debt service park account. I did talk with your financial advisor about the debt service park account. He stated that we can close this account into your debt service fund, that there's not really a reason to have both of them open. This was set up before my time, so what we're going to do is combine these two. In previous years, we've done your debt service payment for the WS&D side out of your debt service fund, and then the debt service payment for your park bond out of the debt service park. But he said, you know, we'd rather just combine it all. So on the next report, y'all will see those combined.
Can we do that?
Oh, that's for the payment. That's for the payment, correct? That's like our
Yes.
savings account, kind of our account where we put the money for the payment.
Okay,
Yeah, as long as they track it, yeah.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, y'all make payments out of those funds twice a year, one that has principal and interest, and then one that's just interest. And so it'll just come out of one account going forward instead of being split up each time. Your next page, your sewer treatment plant. We receive payment from your general operating fund. Bank service charges are listed, and under checks previously approved, we issued your Entergy and Republic Services. Today, for y'all's approval, we have Entergy again, your bookkeeping fees for December, and then operations and maintenance. New blank checks to replace the ones that we issued. We are left off with a little bit of a deficit. That's just because East Plantation, we've had timing differences the last few months on when East Plantation meets, when RP meets, so this will flip around as soon as we get that payment in from them. Your next page, your joint drainage fund, receiving in payment from your general operating fund, and then we have your bank service charge listed. We issued your blank check to Energy, and then today we have bookkeeping fees for the month, and then a new invoice for Energy coming through. We did do a new blank check for Energy. It's good to have those on file. Sometimes we'll get the invoices in time for the meeting, sometimes we don't, so that's why occasionally you'll see the invoice attached to a check for signatures for today, and then sometimes we'll have the blank one, but I like having them on file in case we don't receive the invoice in time for the next meeting. Your ending balance of this account is at $5,988. Your next page, profit and loss for the month of December. Looking at your middle column, we're looking at October through December. Your so far, overall, and that's about midway down the page, your total income y'all have collected is $524,972. Your water expenses and sewer expenses bring us on to the next page. You'll see after all of your administrative fees, we are leaving off for October through December at a little bit of a deficit. That is because maintenance taxes we rely so heavily on. So once the bulk of those start coming in, this number will flip around. Your next page is your STP fund, profit and loss, showing zeros across the bottom. That means that we have billed everything out to your participants. And then your last page, the same idea. Your joint drainage fund, zeros across the bottom shows we've built everything out. That's everything I have for you guys. Did y'all have any questions?
I have a question, and this may be stupid, but on page where we pulled money from the Texas fund. What page is that on?
Oh, here's our investments.
Which page is that?
The investments on page, this one. That's what's left in our account. Here's where it came. Here's some more, but, so these up here, the first couple, have the balance in those accounts. Is that
I guess my
what-
question is, if so we started off low with money, and we're pulling money from the Texas fund, so that we have money to pay the bills for the month, is that correct?
For the general operating fund?
Yes.
Yes, so we keep the bulk of your money in the, on page 2, you'll see in that first little section, it says investments, general operating fund, Texas class. We keep the bulk of your money, that's $561,000. We keep it there because they get better interest. So your checking account just earns a little bit of interest, on the account, like maybe, I think it's 2%. And then your Texas class account is getting 4.6% right now.
That's the page I was looking for right there. Okay. I just wanted to make sure it's like being a homeowner, taking money out of savings to put it into your checking account to help pay bills, correct?
Yes, that's exactly correct.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have do you wanna go on with the depository pledge, Tiffany, is that you, or is that, no?
Either one of us can talk about it.
Okay, well, you want me to
let just
approve the
say-
bookkeeper's report then first?
Sure.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve the bookkeeper's report?
I make a motion that we approve the bookkeeper's report.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, okay, go ahead, Davis.
Okay, the Public Funds Investment Act requires that all of your funds be collateralized, and so we enter into depository pledge agreements with banks where you deposit your funds that obligate the banks to collateralize funds in excess of FDIC limits. And that is exactly what this agreement does. We've done a bunch of these with Central Bank, and this obligates Central Bank to pledge collateral for the benefit of the district. So if the bank were to go under, that you would be able to make a claim against the collateral to be made whole for your deposits. So.
Do we need to have a motion for that since we've signed them, or, okay? Do I have a
Yeah,
motion
you
to
should.
enter into those agreements?
I make a motion that we enter into the agreements
The depository
for
pledge
the
agreement?
depository pledge agreement.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, tax assessor collectors report, just shows what we've collected. Looks like they've collected some past due things. So, okay. Any questions on the tax assessor collectors report?
No.
Do I have a motion to accept it?
That we already did that.
I'll make a motion we accept the tax assessor's report.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, review of the investments. Tiffany, do you have anything else to add besides the 4.6 that we're earning at Texas class and all of that?
No, we've seen a slight decrease on the Texas class. Overall, it's better interest rates than what we've seen anywhere else. CDs right now, we're looking at about, if we were to lock up y'all's money, at about 4.1 to 4.05. And so, you know, we can always look at that if you guys would like me to. What I've found is that the Texas class has always had better rates, and they hold the rates a little bit more steady than other, like a text pool account or a CD. But if you guys want me to look into some CD options, I can.
No, I'm happy with where it's at.
I agree.
Okay.
Half a point's half a point.
That's right. Okay. So can we approve the review of the investments and the payment of the district bills? Can I get one motion for those two?
I move we approve the investment report.
How about and approve the payment of the bills?
Huh?
And approve the payment of the
I'm
bills?
paying the bill.
That's a good deal.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the audit report. Mark, are you on there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Good to be with you all. I emailed out just yesterday the draft audit report, and let me say from the beginning, I apologize for the late timing of getting the report out to you. It took us a while to get this one ready and out, and I apologize for the delay. I'll also state that we can approve the report pending a 7 or 10 day period for directors and other consultants. I'm sure Davis hasn't had a chance to fully review the audit report as well. So you could approve this report subject to a 7 or 10 day review to give any director or other consultant who has questions or needs more time to review to do that. And then to move on to my report, I do provide unqualified or clean opinion on the financial statements as of September 30th, 2024, which is a good thing. Review the work performed by your consultants to remind you what we do in the course of the audit. Make sure your bookkeeper is handling your funds in accordance with your investment policy and the Public Funds Investment Act and keeping the books properly. Make sure the operator is billing the proper rates to your customers, and if the tap was set, the property was collected in advance. And finally, make sure the tax assessor collector levied the tax using the proper tax rate. Any adjustments to property values were authorized by the appraisal district. You do always have some minor adjustments in each of those areas. The items that I did want to bring up to the board was one had to do with the joint drainage and wastewater treatment plant with East Plantation. And it was just to recommend or to discuss the fact that you could establish an operating reserve for those funds that the other district would have to put up. The only kind of seed money we have in these funds to give you the ability to float some of these expenses is the money that the River Plantation has put up. It isn't in the agreement that East Plantation has to put a deposit with you guys, but it might be something you want to better discuss or consider doing it. And again, this is just to establish like a month or two's worth of expenses so that you don't have loan money to that special revenue fund from the general fund.
Okay.
The other item is some of the construction contracts that are shared with East Plantation. During the course of the audit, we saw some of those billings hadn't been done to the district, so that was roughly $132,000 of cost that will be billed to them if it hasn't been done already. That is something that we caught in the course of the audit. And those are the two things that I wanted to bring up and mention, and with that, you have to take questions or comments on the audit report if there's any speed readers in the audience.
I've got one, on page, it's page 9 of the PDF. It has the capital assets and debt administration, and it's got construction in progress that went up, 400,000.
When you say the PDF, sorry, would you give me I'm looking at a paper copy, I apologize.
It's page 7 on the paper copy.
All right.
Thank you. I thought I was going to be one page off, but I was more.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, sir, that page. What was
Yeah,
the question?
construction in progress, it went up 463,000. Is that the construction, that working on the underground pipes and sewer lines and things like that?
Yes, in one moment I should be able to be a little more specific in what those were.
Right.
It's a few things. It is the wastewater treatment plant rehab, that was not completed year end. The sewer rehab phase 2 was still in construction in progress. 711 Holly Springs storm sewer rehab was still in process. Plantation Village drainage improvement engineering is in construction. And slow down. Water plant 2 electrical improvement are also in construction in progress.
Okay. Got
So
it.
as those contracts get completed, we will, like we did, well, it's actually on page, on page 16, which might be 19 maybe, of the PDF, at the top it says note 4 capital assets. And I was just gonna point out that there's a, here I broke it out a little bit more. And as we complete those contracts, they'll go into the construction in progress, will be in the decreases, and we'll move it over to the different asset allocation or categories that we use there.
Got it. And then on, let me see, the page before that, page 6, I think it is. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Yeah, the summary of changes in net position.
Yes.
By math. So what is other revenue? I'm just curious. What falls under
Mostly
that?
it's interest. It could be some other miscellaneous. Let me see, I can maybe tell you how that grouped.
Garage sale.
Yeah, but we had 300,000
But
a year before.
Oh.
We had more
This
the year
district
before
can
than this year.
afford it, it's just interest earnings.
Oh, okay.
Is all, so that 287 was the interest across all funds, earned, during the year for the district.
It seems strange that we earned less this year than the year before when interest rates went up.
We probably have less money.
Yeah, less money. Okay,
We probably have less money than invest, I'm gonna guess.
got it.
I would, my fast answer would be we probably had less cash.
Okay. Makes sense. I didn't get through the whole thing, but that's about as far as I got.
Well, this would be a good point for me, in case there are any new directors, or a good reminder for everyone that I'm happy to take calls outside of the meeting and answer any of these questions. These are governmental audit reports, which if you are familiar with private enterprise, they are different. There's different jargon and a little different format. So I'd be happy to spend time answering any questions outside of the meeting, and the district won't get a bill for that time.
Very good.
Do I have a motion to accept the auditor's report pending approval or review by the consultant?
I'll make a motion that we accept the audit report pending review of the consultants.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, resolution affirming review of investment policy, strategies and objectives, and list of approved brokers and dealers.
Okay, we do this on an annual basis, and we always put it on the agenda when your audit is on the agenda, because Mark looks at your investment policy as well. Public Funds Investment Act requires that you have an investment policy and that you review it annually. Your policy tracks the limitations of the Public Funds Investment Act. The legislature didn't meet in the last year. No changes to the statute, therefore no changes required to the policy at this time. So just really a procedural item. You'll obviously review your individual investments on a monthly basis. So this is a really a compliance item.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
And we need that. Move we accept the review of investment policy and strategies.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, park maintenance matters. We got anything we need to talk about on that?
On the park,
We got a couple of trees that we need.
that's true. We
Oh,
had a
is it
couple of
one?
trees, and Jay went out and inspected one tree, and it is not on our property, it is the homeowner's tree. So we're not responsible for cutting down the dead tree.
I will call her back and tell her that.
Okay, Jay knocked on the door and there was nobody there.
Okay.
So, yeah, willing to
I'll call her
follow
back.
up with the homeowner.
Okay.
And the only other thing that I can think of about the park is we've got the bench opportunities for anybody that wants to buy a bench. We have 2 benches now,
Have
correct?
we, yeah, but have we decided on
The
the plaque?
language.
Is that, yeah.
Oh, I thought we decided on the plaque.
We did, but we didn't decide on what we wanted, what we were gonna allow on there or whatever.
Oh, well, I figured it was anything anybody wanted to write on there as long as it wasn't
Upon
obscene.
approval, we,
Yeah, I
I
was
think we
gonna
need to
say.
approve each one individually, right?
Yeah,
Just give them a number of
How
characters.
much, yeah.
Total number of characters.
Yeah, they said they could print pretty much anything because they can adjust the font.
okay.
So they can print as many words as you want. It's a 6x9.
And we decided to go in the concrete, right?
Correct.
Be-
Yeah,
Instead of on the
go-
bench, be, yeah.
So they go in the concrete.
Yeah,
so
that really
it's-
looks good.
So it's immovable.
Yeah.
So we've got that opportunity. And then the only other thing I had for the park is, I think Alpha's doing an outstanding job. The park looks great when they get done. I have contacted them and asked them to clear out some debris that's under a tree behind Old Hickory.
I don't think that's ours though.
Well, there's 2 trees. One of them is definitely ours. The other one may not be ours. But I'm gonna go with him and take a look. And he said, I told him, I said, I'm not sure if it's part of the contract or not. And he said, we'll worry about that. We'll get it taken care of.
Okay. It doesn't look like they were drug out there instead of falling off a tree.
Not sure. Not sure. That's a good
I
question.
looked at it tonight when I drove by, or this afternoon when I
That's a
drove
good
by.
question.
Can I make a comment?
Sure,
I wonder how many trees have been lost in the last year?
a lot.
With being a lot, I think it'd be good to, and in line with the presentation y'all had in November, I haven't seen it yet, but it looks really interesting. And the importance of vegetation and controlling the flow of water. And I think they probably get trees almost free. I know, and replace them trees or find some.
We have to
you
get the
replace.
irrigation system working
Well,
first.
yeah, and with that in mind too, I look at the ant beds. And if you look at the yards, you'll find yards that have good grass, they don't have ant beds. But you look at where they used to have greens, and you see how it's been probably scalped by your lawnmower people, or maybe because it hadn't been watered, the combination. But you need to look at the height that they set those lawnmowers. I think for what you could get by with, probably 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches of grass blade above the ground. If they go below that, then they're digging into the plant, and it can't hold the water. And I think that's, if you look at what you should do as far as the maintenance, they may be cutting higher than that, that's fine. But if they're going lower than 3 inches, that could be why you're having such a big ant bed problem, because it's right there in my back. It's not in my backyard, it's in the area from my tree line back out, and it's just covered. And that's the first thing people see when they come in here, are all those ant beds. You don't want to have a insecticide guy, a terminator, come out there and clean that stuff up, and they'll come right back, I guarantee.
And those aren't fire ants. Those are the
Yeah.
No,
Cutter
the
ants.
cutter ants, yeah, and y'all, I know there's a presentation on how to get rid of those things. I think Extinguish Plus, Extinguish Advantage is a pretty good one, but I don't understand the cutter ants. And if you read about how big a cavern they can build underground, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They can go down really deep, but here again, the grass is really important. You may look then at seeding that grass when you get your sprinkler system working. Seeding that area that's bare with good new grass, and you get that going.
Okay. All right, next
3
time.
inches.
3 inches, I would say,
I'll
2.5
talk
to
to
3.
I'll talk to you.
Yeah,
But
see what-
remember, we don't mow every week.
You
Right.
have to, it doesn't
So
grow
you
that
got-
fast no
It's
more.
every month.
Well, in the winter, yes, that's correct. But
I see that lawnmower right out there, there's just dust flying all
and
over
you
the
mow
place.
every 2 weeks?
Okay.
About once a week.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Ours would be double, so it would be double in height.
Yeah.
So as far as the sprinkler system, is that something Taylor's gonna talk about, or do we need to talk about it now?
It's on the thing.
It's on my report.
Okay.
Just a quick update. We're waiting for them to tie in the electrical. Things just happened to shut down around Christmas time, so I've sent out several emails reminding them that they need to tie that in. Once that happens, everything should be good, unless you guys have noticed any more broken heads or something.
I can't understand how they all got broken, and don't we pay a maintenance fee to those guys?
What's that?
Don't we pay them a maintenance fee to take care of that stuff?
Yeah, it's just hard to identify all the broken ones. But we haven't paid them anything right now because we're still trying to get the system fully online.
We had it online, I thought.
For a day.
We
For one day.
did, and then we had the big power outage during Barrel,
Yeah.
and we lost power to it, and so we're gonna tie it into the power of the lift station so that we have more control over it.
I just think they need to step up to the plate. If we're paying them to take care of this stuff, they need to get it taken care of.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Anything else on park maintenance matters?
No.
No. Did we install the doggy?
I was going to add, I thought maybe it might be in Taylor's report about the,
Probably the operators.
operator
MOCs.
report,
Yeah.
because last month they had not started yet, so I don't know if it's been installed yet or not.
Okay. I don't know, Keith,
I
okay.
haven't seen them yet.
All right, operator, next item on the agenda is the operator's report.
All right, good evening, everybody. What was Mr. Mark's question? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear very
We
well.
were, I'm sorry, we were talking about the
Doggy
waste, the
stations.
dog waste stations, if they've been installed yet, and we were hoping y'all had an update.
Not yet. We have all the materials and the both stations at the water plant 3. I'll get those installed as soon as everything calms down. I was hoping that'd be done before the meeting, but we had to prep for this event that came in this week.
No, we're a little busy? Oh,
A little bit. Okay, so I'll start with that. I mean, we fared pretty good. No one lost pressure. We didn't have any issue at any water plants. We did lose an internal transformer at the wastewater treatment plant inside the belt press room. That was fixed today. So everything's back up and running there.
So
And then, I'll go
what kind
over
of
to the
problems
report.
were you getting this week?
Excuse me?
What kind of problems were you getting this week?
None, actually. We had 2 sewer stoppages and 1 house line. A customer had called in, they couldn't turn the water off, and we went and helped them with that. So 2 sewer blockages and 1 leak. And then that was it as far as distribution. And the wastewater treatment plant. Other than that, everything else went real smooth.
good. Okay.
Alrighty, well, I'll go over to the report for December. We're looking at connections of 977 with 42 vacancies. Revenues totaling is at 6,000. I'm sorry, yeah, 6 million. No, I'm sorry, $74,437.13. Bill consumption is 6,588,000. We have our water production below with total pumping to 7,150,000. We're 33% accounted for this month with 3 leaks. 2 of those were main lines. I put Ms. Julie in the loop with those. No boil water notices were needed. And for bacteriological samples, all came back good. Below that are our wastewater treatment plant numbers. Everything was working within parameters, no excursions or breaches. And we operated at 57% of our permitted capacity. We did have 1.5 MGs of reused water with a total revenue of $1,087.20. Below that is your age receivables, your consumption, and your water accountability charts. And the next 2 pages are your DMRs. Again, no excursions or breaches, and everything is working within compliance. That's all I have. If you have any questions.
Questions, comments, concerns? No?
Not for me.
Got a motion to approve, motion to accept the operator's report?
Make a motion, we accept the operator's report.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Engineers
Thank you.
report. Thanks,
Thank you,
Mario.
Mario.
Engineers report.
All right, guys. First item are going over the permits. So the only one to bring up is the stormwater quality management plan. We're currently reviewing that. Nothing else. We've got about 8 months to get that submitted, so we're in no rush, and so we want to do a thorough job. The East Ditch FEMA work, still nothing. Hopefully with some of the new things changing over in government and stuff, some of that stuff will break loose. For the East Ditch maintenance, we're currently going after a bunch of different contractors, including Alpha, to try to get a lower price for it, comparable to what All Season was doing it for. Wastewater treatment plant, no pay application this month, still construction going on. Holly Spring Drain.
Hey,
Good.
on that first page B, the stormwater quality management plan, is that really expires January 2024?
Yeah, so this is really weird. So it's a 5-year plan was the original annual report. They never reviewed the plan until the end of 2024. So we were floating in no man's land. They revamped everything. There's no penalty or anything like that. They revamped the entire system, and then they gave a 180-day timeline to be able to submit submit for it. And so that's the current process that we're in right now once they finally approve the permits and push forward. So there's a whole brand new permitting system and everything. So that's kind of the arbitrary date. I actually just put in my notes to update when we need to submit the next one, which is the middle of the summer.
It doesn't make any sense, Carl, but I'll just tell you that these permits run like a year behind all the time.
Okay.
That's all I can say. The state is permitted by the EPA, then the state turns around and permits the district, and in all of that process, it's kind of wild. So a lot of times you'll submit an extra year of reporting on a 5th-year report on a 4-year permit. It's just wild stuff. So
it's really a who's on first sort of situation. It's a wild, and it doesn't make any sense, and so that's why that date makes everything look weird. It's not inaccurate, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
Okay. Our government at work.
TCQ and the EPA don't get along very well sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay.
Moving on to the district projects, the Sanitary Sewer Rehab Phase 2, that construction's underway. They're probably about 85% complete. They've completed all the big ticket items. They're just going back and doing the smaller sections. Charleston Park Irrigation, I mentioned on that. I'm actually going to reach out to Alpha and see if they have an irrigation crew that they work with. And that may be worthwhile pursuit since they're already out there on a regular basis doing the milling. Okay. Since we have had some issues getting in contact with the current one. The water plant number 2 electrical upgrades, they've got one item left, which is the meter, the water meter that goes on the well. The reader for that runs it back to the motor control center. It's, according to the contractor, the one they originally submitted on comes out of Los Angeles, which is currently on fire. So they're trying to find a different manufacturer that they can utilize. The Plantation Village drainage improvement, that construction is currently underway. FEMA public assistance, we're just waiting for the final approval and funding. Bond application number 10, I say we send it to the attorney. I was hoping to do that this week. Obviously with the weather, things have gotten a little chaotic, so Davis has not received it yet, so I'm the one behind. But we are finishing that up. We just got all the FA work, and we're finishing out that section, and we'll have it hopefully by the end of this week. The sanitary sewer sinkholes, the contractors performed their pre-construction inspections and are looking to begin work hopefully next week or the week after. I will contact them and talk to them about the ones that were recently bought up, the 495 and the 612, Merrimack and Arkansas Park, as well as the 726 Stonewall Jackson. We digested that one. It is a storm sewer. I asked the operator to televise that. We had a repair originally in that area, so it looks like another area has broken. So just trying to track down what specifically is going on. If it's within the same area of the first repair, it would be in with a 1-year warranty from the original storm sewer work we did. So hopefully we can just get it repaired that way.
What's the time frame on getting this done?
That's
The
the,
sinkholes.
Sinkholes?
that's the other side.
The current sinkhole contract that we have on the books is a 60-day contract to get the work done for the 4 sinkholes. If we throw another one in there, it'll be within that same time frame. Each sinkhole probably takes a week, 2 weeks max, just because once you uncover it, you never know if you have to go chasing different areas to get it all backfilled properly. But it's about a 2-week process per manhole.
Okay.
Taylor, to consider what Robert was expressing concern about, could we take a look at all of these? If they got just rebar sticking out, if somebody tripped, could get impaled, maybe at minimum put those caps on, but still that's still a very small object if somebody tripped. Just look at it, see if there's ways that we can make that safer in case somebody got around them and tripped, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Mario, if it's within the roadway, we may want to just go ahead and put a small steel plate over it for the time being, so that it's completely off limits.
It's on the shoulder of the road.
It's 12 inches underneath the road too. I mean,
Okay, I'll take a look at it tomorrow, and then we'll do what we have to do to make it safe. And then we can take care of it tomorrow.
And if you need to just backfill it or fill it in with some asphalt for the time being, we know the location of it, and we can just dye test it before you guys do it and identify, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Other than that, I don't have any requests for approval or anything. December's always a little slow with construction, so hopefully we come out of that in February. We'll see a lot more work going on.
Did you send me something? Did you send me that thing you said you were gonna send me to sign or no?
I did not. Y'all had approved that back in November, so I just need to send it to you and get you to execute it. Yeah. Same with the contracts. There's some contracts that need to be signed for the Plantation Village. Y'all approved them at the prior meeting. I just didn't have them with me at that meeting, so we'll send it to you electronically.
Okay. All right. Motion to accept the engineer's report. If nobody has any questions. Okay.
Move we accept the engineer's report.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the order adopting the residence homestead exemption for persons 65 or older or disabled.
Okay, we put this on the agenda every January, at least going back to 2019. Y'all have adopted a $25,000 exemption for those who are over 65 or disabled. So
Do we need
we
to approve
adopt
that
it
again?
every year. Yep, you need to take action in order to continue to have that exemption in place.
Is that a $25,000 in addition to what was already there, or 25,000 total?
It's 25,000 total off of so each taxing jurisdiction adopts their own exemptions, Tim. There are some exemptions that are statutory, like a disabled veterans exemption, for example. That applies no matter what. That's not an elective exemption. But in this case, the district can adopt an over 65 or disabled or a general homestead exemption. And in the past, the district has adopted a $25,000 over 65 or disabled exemption.
Okay.
Do I have a
Because
motion?
I'm 65 now, and I'm very interested in
There you
that.
go. Well, then make a motion to approve it.
I make a motion, we approve the 65 and above and disabled exemption.
Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the order rescinding and adopting additional meeting places outside the district.
Okay, this is, really relates to our office. We're kind of cleaning up some meeting rooms that had previously been designated as potential meeting locations. And we have taken some space on the 10th floor in our building that has new conference rooms in it. And so our firm is publishing notice for the district at our expense to address that and give you the ability to meet there should you ever choose to do so. But in order to do that, we do need you to adopt this order designating that meeting location. So
So
And just to be clear, it does not obligate you to change your meeting location. I have no expectation that y'all are gonna start meeting anywhere, other than where you meet now. It just kinda cleans it up if there was ever a
It
reason to.
also helps us for
So I see,
off-site storage, that's where we're storing everything.
And this is
That's
just our
right,
meeting
but to be
places.
clear, this is meeting location and not the district's, office. And in our, the files are stored in our system, but they are, remember that the vast majority of it is electronic now, so.
so if, this has your address on there, does that mean that's the only place we can meet?
No.
No.
This one is-
No. We have a list of district, meeting locations, and they include, the building that you're in right now. And they've always included our, office, or at least have for several years, and so this would just kind of clean up the designation of our office. Right now, it's the 11th floor in our building, and now it would be the 10th and 11th floor, would both be options, if that makes sense. But again, no expectation that y'all are gonna change your location, just trying to, clean it up, while we're doing these publications, if that makes sense.
But we just can't pick another place that isn't on this list, is that true?
That's right, state law requires you to both, for locations outside of the district, you have to adopt an order designating the location, and then you have to publish a notice in the newspaper, before you can meet there.
For $800.
So we could just.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And so, again, our firm, we're the one who changed our office space, so we are bearing that, that expense, so.
Right. Okay.
Okay, do I have a motion to accept?
I move we accept it, what do they call it, district
order for
of
adopting.
public meeting places.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, violation of district rules, public hearing for violation of district rules and damage to district property, assessment of penalties.
I know we have at least one item to discuss in executive session. Paul, is there anything you wanna talk about in regular session?
No, we have nothing new, thankfully, but a few things to report on in executive session.
Okay. Next thing is executive session then, so. Okay, we're going to adjourn to executive session. And at 7:28 p.m.
Thanks for your input.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, we are back in session at 8:04 p.m. Do I have a motion our next board meeting will be February 27th at 6:30 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, see you guys next month.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Stay warm.
all right,
Bye-bye.
bye.